Just want to talk for a second about the right wing in America at the moment. They've gone completely insane. Usually, I'm here criticizing the far left, and you know, I'm a right winger myself, um, and usually it's the right that is the more sensible side, in my opinion. If I didn't think so, then I'd be on the left. But the two main tropes in the States at the moment are that Trump won the election and that the vaccine, doesn't work. And then you have the more extreme elements of the right wing that actually think that COVID itself is a hoax and that it's a kind of it's the Jews are doing it, or George Soros, or whatever. Well, he is Jewish, isn't he? And it's some grand conspiracy to make the pharmaceutical companies richer. That is Alex Jones conspiracy theory nonsense, as far as I'm concerned. The idea that the whole world it could be, it could be just a prank on the entire planet. It's a wink and a nod, and we're going to be let in on the punchline anytime soon. Do you have any idea the kind of collaboration that would have to take place to make that fly? It would be, there's more chance of the earth being flat. There would be more collaboration needed than every space agency on earth, which there are like 71, collaborating to manufacture every picture from space to make it seem like the earth is round when it's actually flat, and everybody is completely stum about it and not saying a word. It's that level of absolute insanity to think that way. But even the anti-vaxxers, why they think the vaccine doesn't work, I don't know. I don't know how many people have died from the vaccine, if any. Some people have had some adverse side effects. It's the same with any vaccine. I mean, you're talking about 4 billion people on planet Earth that have been vaccinated. Even if 40,000 people have died from this vaccine, that's 1 in 100,000. I'm not sure what the figures are on the flu vaccine and other vaccines, but that I'd say is pretty standard. No vaccine is ever 100%. I'm sure 1 in 100 people, have adverse effects and even die. I don't know. It's 10 people in a million. Perhaps that's true. And they take these anomalies and they run with them and create an entire narrative. On Twitter earlier on, arguing with these idiots that, in a year or two from now, the people that are vaccinated are going to be getting serious compensation. It's like the earth is going to be hit by an asteroid, and the unvaccinated, the knuckle dragging unvaccinated people are going to be the only ones left alive, and they're going to come out and have dominion over the planet. That's the way they talk. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm not for forcing anybody to get vaccinated if they don't want to get vaccinated. I wouldn't stick a needle in somebody's arm. I would rather convince somebody that they are wrong, rather than kind of mandating. So this kind of Joe Biden attitude where he wants to mandate this kind of stuff, I'm not for that at all. Don't get me wrong, but the idea that you can take a few anomalies and then create an entire narrative it's so silly. It really is. The risks of COVID are pretty clear. I'm not saying it hasn't been exaggerated at times. I'm not saying that the numbers haven't been bumped up when, somebody goes into hospital with terminal cancer. They get COVID an hour before they die. They're tested. It's found that they have COVID. And then on the death certificate, died of COVID. No, they died with COVID, but they died because of the bloody brain hemorrhage they had or whatever it was. That kind of thing did happen to bump up the numbers, and there's been a lot of fear mongering, usually from the left, around this stuff. But that doesn't mean that it's not a real danger to a lot of people. It's killed nearly 6 million people the world over. And even if there is, and if those numbers are exaggerated, even if they're exaggerated to a factor of 100%, that's still 3 million people that it's killed worldwide. So it's obviously dangerous to people. I mean, the chances of you dying from it are very, very slim, especially my age. If you're in your 30s, it's a very slim chance that you will die, especially if you're vaccinated. But the older you get, the more the risk is. But these people will talk like getting the vaccine is more dangerous than not getting it. And there was one tragic story in America of these two anti-vaxxers, and they refused to get the vaccine. They both got COVID and they both died. And they left two young children there. The state has to deal with them or whatever. And it's just how it's got politicized. I mean, all the anti-vaxxers are on the right. America is so balkanized politically. I mean, even climate change, which you think should be completely non-partisan, I mean, affects everybody, is politicized. It's so strange, and it is increasingly in the UK and that kind of thing. But it's pretty depressing to see it. The other thing is the Trump, the stolen election thing. He had a rally in Arizona the other day, and he was going on again about the stolen election and this kind of stuff. I mean, he has just got to drop this motif. He's got to drop it, because he can't run in 2024 on the narrative of a stolen election, because the people that he lost to Biden, mostly because of how he handled the COVID stuff, those people will look at that and say, well, that's an affront to American democracy. And where is the evidence? Most people will look for evidence if they're going to, I know a lot of people just go on story and who's got the best story and that kind of thing. But a lot of people do want to say, okay, if it was stolen, where's the evidence? And if the evidence isn't there, which it isn't, they're going to vote the other way, And it's kind of insulting to the American system to say that this stuff could have happened. And I just think it's a losing strategy for Trump to run on the stolen election story. I think he'll lose if he does it, but apart from that, it's not true. If he won the election, he would be in there, So yeah, he's got to drop it, and I actually want him to win in 24. I want Biden out of there, and if I hope Tulsi Gabbard would run. I think she's still a Democrat. I don't know. I think she should become a Republican, and if she got the nomination, I would back her completely. I think she's great. Andrew Yang, maybe. I think he's pretty good too. But if Trump won the Republican nomination, I would back him. But he's got to drop the stolen election BS, or else I couldn't, in good conscience, back him. But in a way, I'm an Irishman and I haven't got a vote, so it doesn't really matter. But let's say I wouldn't voice my support for him. But yeah, this is a rare video. I'm normally criticizing the idiots on the left, but idiocy is not confined to one side of the political spectrum. And yeah, one of the guys I was arguing with on Twitter, I mean, he gave me, I said, okay, give me your 3 top epidemiologists and virologists that support your position. And he gave me these names that were so just because you have doctor in front of your name doesn't make you an epidemiologist. One of them was an economist. I think another one was a doctor of philosophy or something. And as soon as I put the names into Google, it came up conspiracy theorist. This is an economist. This is, and I screenshotted it and sent them back, tweeted them back. And you know what he said? Don't use Google. Don't use Google. It's funded by George Soros. It's a conspiracy. So it's like, these people, there's nothing to say to that. The conversation is over. But yeah, crazy times.